Welcome to Primate TV and News. Today we are discussing a book titled The Ape and the Sushi Master by Frans de Waal. De Waal is the Charles Howard Candler Professor of Primate Behavior in the Department of Psychology at Emory University. De Waal is a Dutch primatologist who was trained at Radboud University, Newman, University of Groningen, and received a doctorate of biology at Utrecht University and trained in zoology and ethologist. He is also the director of the Living Links Center at the Yerkes National Primate Research Center. He is a member of the United States National Academy of Sciences and the Royal Netherlands Academy of Arts and Sciences. Now here's Faustina to help us better understand the concept of culture before we get into the book.
Hello, my name is Faustina Edwin, and I'm here to discuss the concept of culture. When we think of culture, it's natural to automatically assume culture is something distinguished by race or geographic location. However, throughout the course and throughout the book, How to Think Like an Anthropologist, we have come to understand that culture is something far from only biological. Culture shapes more of a person than biology, especially in the aspect of food and other material aspects that we see throughout the book. Culture also puts a restriction on what we see. Engelke, the author of How to Think Like an Anthropologist, brought up a point made by Boas on cultural glasses, which we all wear that hinder us from truly seeing every aspect of the world without perspective. Finally, he discusses how culture is something that cannot be concrete regardless of the various symbols of it, and how it is something that has and forever will change. Even though food and material aspects are an important part of culture, it's important to adopt the idea that culture can consist of more than just these things. Animals, such as primates, can have culture, even though it does not resemble human culture. Now back to Talia, who will discuss the book.
On the bottom too.
They can never seen food in its life.
He stole the chips from me.
He stole the chips.
In the book, The Ape and the Sushi Master, Frans de Waal argues how humans recognize how non-human primates have cultures that are similar to ours. He does this by laying out various similarities such as tool use, reproductive competition, and struggle for power. He also explains how most humans struggle to draw these similarities because of our human superiority complex. Now back to Faustina to discuss tool use in primates with Haley.
Hello, my name is Faustina Edwin.
And I'm Haley Warren.
Nice to meet you.
Me too. So, unlike primates, humans know what tools are and use them with a purpose. All primates know is that using a rock can help them smash something. They don't really know what a tool is or that it necessarily works. Humans, on the other hand, mass-produce tools for specific uses and usually know what they're doing with them whenever they're being used. Human tools are so much more superior in the way that some have certain attachments and can be multi-useful, so that it's easier for the user. Primate tools consist of whatever is around and has no cut and dry use. If the primate thinks it might work, they'll try it.
You know, humans tend to take most credit for being able to manipulate objects into other things, such as tools. However, the underlying reason behind these tool use is survival. Yes, it is quite true that humans have the cognitive and physical capabilities to mass-produce tools which are used to make life simpler. According to de Waal, primates were able to manipulate branches and other materials found in nature to make tools that were then used to make tools that aided in animals getting their food. This behavior may seem human-like, but actually is based on instinct. The ability for these primates to utilize their increased brain complexity, as we have previously discussed in anthropology, to make tools is a matter of fact their ability to eat, which in turn determines their survival. Our use of tools has changed from an instinctive survival tactic to a matter of making life simpler, while for primates, it's always been instinct.
Go.
Now back to Talia, who will introduce our next topic.
Now here's Daniel and Haley to discuss the similarities and differences between human and ape reproductive competition.
My name is Daniel Lamb.
And I'm Haley Warren. How can primates possibly have reproductive competition? They're primates. They can't possibly have the brain power to deal with competition, especially whenever it comes to the battle of having children. Primates don't really have manners, so it makes sense that they would just find someone and have babies with them, rather than there being any underlying competition taking place.
I'm here to talk about reproductive competition. Bonobos are similar apes like us to chimpanzee. These primates move, walk, and mate each other like us. Mating is very differently for the bonobos by substitute sex for aggression by resolving conflict through sexual contact. They're lively and competitive. Bonobos are no pushover who love each other to death, but do have high effective of rivalry. Bonobos will have sex with a male or female. The author went to San Diego Zoo to study bonobos for hundreds of hours and video camera them. He said the 3/4 of sexual activity I saw in the zoo had nothing to do with reproduction. It frequently involved members of the same sex or took place during the portion of a female menstrual cycle. The sexual activities would occur moments of tension where they were risk of competition over food or after a fight. Sexual activity increased a lot more when there are more food, sharing food, or group bonds entering the fruit tree. Sometimes bonobos resolve competition through the food for sex. Exchange male bonobos does a thing called penis fencing, where two males hang face to face a branch while rubbing their erect penises together. On the other hand, females would rapidly rub each other's genital. Whoever has more food is usually the dominant one. Bonobos mate more like human, and chimpanzees mate more like dogs. The female bonobo position herself situated between her legs or to her back, like chimpanzee. Usually, the female are equal or higher status than the male and claim food whenever they want. Bonobos shows competition by showing dominance with each other. Whoever has the most food is usually dominant in the group. Back to Tyler to another topic.
Again with Haley and Faustina to discuss the struggle for power.
Hello, Haley. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you for having me back. Non-human primates have no actual concept of what power is. Theoretically, it's the ideas being shared that create power and not the actual individual that is trying to obtain the power. With this being said, how can primates have power if they can't even properly explain their ideas to other primates? All primates know is that they want something, and in order to get it, they have to do certain things for it. That doesn't mean they want power, it just means they know what they want.
So as you've seen before, another major aspect of culture is power and authority. It is important to understand that power is contextual, and authority is when power is given to the individual. Throughout culture, we see many different forms of this power in a domestic setting where the patriarch has power over the family, and even a political system where the president and members of government have power over the people. In a similar way, DeWall argues that primates have a similar desire and a concept of power in their own non-human cultures. These primates exhibit a desire for dominance and higher self-esteem similar to humans. Primates assert their dominance in many ways that are similar to humans, but the way that is most alarming is through direct violence, which is rather identical to the historically human method of acquiring power and authority, which is warfare. And now back to Talia, who will introduce our last topic.
We welcome Raina to discuss the human superiority complex with Haley.
My name is Raina Green.
And I am Haley Warren. I find it very hard to believe that humans believe they're the only creatures on Earth that truly matter. We have pets and take very good care of them, so why would we go through life thinking that we're better than everything else? With this being said, I stick to my logic of non-human primates not having culture. How can they have culture whenever they don't have the proper form of communication? Humans are the only sophisticated creatures on Earth that have the power to have a proper culture.
We believe the theory that both human and primates both have culture. However, humans tend to think that some don't. Do we know why? No. We can take a guess, probably because they don't pay any attention to primate behaviors. Primates are exactly like us. They just communicate different and have different interests. Studies have shown that both human... I just got breaking news that there's a monkey up under the sea. Oh my God, what the fuck? There's a live monkey up under the sea. Oh my God, cut the camera. Cut the camera.
No, really! You gotta come save me!
Hey, Sandy. Who's your friend?
But you're supposed to be in the gorilla suit.
I am in the gorilla suit. I thought I was doing a pretty good job.
If you're Patrick, then who's that? A real gorilla!
I'm sorry about that, and I'm back to our discussion. Anyways, studies have shown that both human and primates both have culture. We all remember our childhood favorite, Tarzan. He was raised in the jungle, and he was raised by the community of the jungle. Tarzan was raised in the culture, and the movie shows that primates have culture also. You may think that it's just a cartoon and doesn't really count, but it does. It shows a prime example of primates having culture also. Human superiority complex is human thinking that they are better, smarter, than all primates because they don't have any culture, which they do. They have other purposes in life than us, and they go about life different ways. Doesn't mean they aren't just like us. Now back to Talia for a conclusion.
A special shout out to Franz de Waal and his immense intelligence for showing how we aren't so different from non-human primates. Just because the culture of these animals does not look exactly the same as ours, it does not mean that it is not a culture to recognize and respect. This was a good reminder for us humans to treat these animals with respect by ending poaching and taking care of the earth so that their environment stops deteriorating and begins to thrive.